How do you think that was done?
I've been asked that question a lot of times.
It's almost interesting that even wound up in the educational system to begin with, and when I was going through, nobody challenged it. Basically, we're talking about levitation.
There was the famous Trojan War that happened about 3,000 years ago, and this is a good example of the efficacy of geomythology. Is that Schliemann, who was the archaeologist who discovered the lost city of Troy, when everybody else, the establishment, believed it was purely just a myth, he actually used clues that he got from reading Homer and the myths and stuff, and he went and found the ruins of Troy. And it was accepted. So that was kind of like, okay, maybe there's merit to looking at some of these ancient traditions. And since then, it's kind of evolved into a whole sub-discipline of geological research, in that a lot of these ancient accounts can actually provide very important insight and clues and information into ancient geological events.
Yeah.
So that's what geomythology is. It is not some weird, something that has been concocted up. It actually has value. And there's, sort of a counterpart to that. It's called astromythology, because we know that ancient peoples all over the world were very, very interested in what was happening in the sky. Mm-hmm. And so astro refers to the stories and the myths about things that are happening in the heavens, in the sky, in the celestial realm. And, again, we're finding out that, there's merit to that. That we can actually derive valuable, usable information. I take the story of Marduk battling Tiamat in this Sumerian tradition. And, astronomers even like 40 years ago were looking at that and going, well, wait a second, it could be that, people are witnessing some kind of like fireballs, or maybe the breakup of a comet or some such thing as that in the sky. And that became the basis for recording this myth.
Interesting.
Same with, Zeus battling dragons in the sky. There's many myths. The Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent in the New World stories. Again, all over the world, like stories of dragons and flying serpents and things like that, and wars in the heavens. And so there's actually a group of astronomers now, particularly started in England, like in the early 80s, late 70s, where they're looking at these myths and going, well, maybe these are records of things that people actually witnessed or experienced firsthand.
Well, I can't wait to dive in. We had we touched on a couple subjects at breakfast that really, really caught my ear. But, one thing that I think everybody is kind of coming to is, the ancient Egypt, the pyramids and a lot of these mysteries of the world, Stonehenge, Easter Island, the pyramids, Machu Picchu, and how all these seem to line up, with the stars line up with each other. And I think, I don't know too many people left that are buying the ancient Egypt, the pyramids were built with by lifted stone that weigh tons, thousands and thousands of pounds with sticks.
A lot of those stones are 50, 100, 200 tons, even bigger than that.
It's almost interesting that even wound up in the educational system to begin with, and when I was going through, nobody challenged it.
No.
And now today it seems to be, the complete opposite.
Yeah, people are really beginning to question. And the thing is, you could look at it as an anomaly. And one culture at one point in history said, hey, you know what? We're going to quarry and move 200-ton stones just for the heck of it. Mm-hmm. But you see the thing all over the world. All over the world, they're doing these incredible structures with these massive stones. And, as a builder, I have, had to move heavy weights sometimes. And, of course, we'll bring in cranes and things, which presumably they didn't have back then, or front end loaders, or lift up a 1-ton beam.
Yeah. Do you have how do you think that was done?
I've been asked that question a lot of times, and I don't know the answer. I last year in February, I went down and interviewed with Tucker Carlson. He contacted me, said he wanted to interview me. I didn't know what he wanted to talk about. I get down there, that's what he wanted to talk about. We get in the studio, and he says, "How did they do that?" Mm-hmm. And I said, "Well, to be honest, I don't know. I've been thinking about this for decades. I don't know. I have some ideas of which direction to go now that I didn't have even a year or two ago. However, my understanding of the science of it is not to the point yet where I feel like I would fall on my face if I attempted to explain these thoughts that I have had about how such a thing might be accomplished."
I need to introduce you to my friend Chris Beck. But
okay,
fascinating guy.
So you got some ideas?
He used to work he was a SEAL, and then he worked for the Pentagon. He's basically, in a nutshell, a mad scientist, and just a brilliant.
We like mad scientists, actually.
A brilliant mind, but he talks a lot about everything is frequency and vibration.
See, that's exactly the direction I would go.
And do you believe in 0-point energy?
I haven't researched it enough to say I believe in it, but I do think that there are forms of energy that are orders of magnitude more efficient than anything we're using today.
If you put... I believe they were able to harness some type of energy out of the earth to move those. I don't see any other way.
That's exactly the direction I would go with it.
And if you put if you just put a block or a paperweight or whatever on a table or on top of a speaker and apply frequency and vibration, it moves on its own. And so if you had some people guiding where that needed to be moved, that seems to be the only... I don't know how the hell you would do it, or how you would harness the energy or create frequency and vibration to be able to vibrate the earth to get people. Basically, we're talking about levitation. Yeah. And I just don't see any other way how to do it. But it seems to be the only logical explanation that.
I think levitation was probably a scientific reality to ancient cultures.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.